after the impacts of Tropical Storm Honey over the weekend.
Plus, we take you around the globe to wild weather events that happened over the weekend. A lot of interesting video as we go Weather Extra.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And we are so glad you are with us on this toasty evening. Even though we're experiencing the hotter weather here, parts of Northern California seeing a different story. Hey, where are the snow fans at? A system from the Gulf of Alaska brought a dusting of August snow to the Sierra Nevada peaks. The last time it snowed in August in this region was in 2003. And so glad to have meteorologist Tania Michelle back with us here for Weather Extra. And Tania, it's monsoon season across the Southwest. We've been seeing a lot of those flood videos coming in there as well, and you're familiar with that area.
I sure am. New Mexico, it rains every day at the same time.
Well, we could use, what's the deal here? They're getting all the rain.
They're getting all of it. They're taking it from us, and that's why we're so dry.
We're so dry, and the dry air is having a big role
on our temperatures.
It certainly is.
Yep.
And, tonight you can tell it's still that crispness is out there for this evening, but that's the next big thing we want to talk about here, and that's why we have declared First Alert weather days for the next several days. This is going to continue through Friday because it's dry. The actual air temperature is going to jump close to 100 the next few days in a few spots. We'll actually went with average highs in the upper 90s, but just because of that possibility there, certainly want to play it safe during the afternoon hours. And it's all because of a ridge of high pressure that's overhead. You can see it on the charts here, just giving you that weather extra. You can see that ridge right over Alabama. And what happens, it looks like by Thursday and into Friday, that starts to break down. So what will happen, we'll see some scattered afternoon storms starting to pop up. But this is like putting a lid, I always say it, on a pot of boiling water. It's just really capped off the atmosphere. So we're not seeing those pop-up showers and storms, but we're certainly dealing with the hot weather. And there's a lot of truth in that saying, drought feeds drought, because when it gets very dry like this, it's really hard to break that pattern. But hopefully by Friday and Saturday, we'll see a few scattered afternoon storms. But this will look at the average highs. And again, not every location will reach 100, but it's possible in some spots. And we will approach some records. That's why we have declared First Alert weather days. But notice as the temperature goes this way, looks like actually, when you look at this map, it looks like the heat, well, looks like it might be backing off this weekend. Well, not the case. The heat index goes the other way. It actually goes up. And that's because we will have higher dew points moving in. I was noticing the precipitable water values in the atmosphere. Things start to kind of moisten up, allowing for some of those scattered afternoon storms. So the weather headlines, of course, the heat, the big story, but later on this week we will have storms returning to the forecast. And at this time, we are not seeing tropical activity. But I mentioned drought conditions. We do have drought conditions in place. This is the latest drought monitor, and you can see areas to the northwest. We're actually in the severe to moderate drought for parts of Fayette, Walker, even parts of Coleman County, right around Smith Lake, Double Springs, back in towards Hamilton, and we'll probably see this expanding and even maybe more of a severe drought in these areas by the end of the week. But notice some improvements over East Alabama, but we might actually see those abnormally dry conditions really start to overtake the area. You can tell out there everything is extra crispy right now, but as we prepare for the extreme heat coming up over the next few days, meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now. Take a closer look at the data and other record-breaking temperatures we've seen.
As you know, tomorrow through Friday, we've declared all those days First Alert weather days for dangerous heat levels. And so let's show you what I'm talking about regarding tomorrow's heat. So this particular graphic we're showing you right here is an experimental feature from the National Weather Service called the heat risk. And what we're looking for really is orange, but also red colors where the heat's a little bit more intense and could impact your health, especially for those that don't drink enough water and stay properly hydrated. So you can see some minor issues up to the north and east, but a moderate chance for some heat-related issues, especially in the western portions of Alabama. Let's check out Wednesday's heat risk, and you can see more orange, less yellow, and starting to see more of those reds, which is pretty significant and major. So there's going to be spots where we're going to see the humidity increase, and that added heat is going to make it feel even warmer. And let's check out Thursday's heat risk as well. And as you can see with Thursday, we're looking at even more orange and red. So just be safe in the heat if if you can. The big question is, are we going to tie or break any records? Well, let's look at those record highs for tomorrow. So on average, we'll see highs near 90 for Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. That record high is 103. Anniston 101. So I highly doubt we're going to tie or break any records. Let's check out the next day, shall we? For Wednesday, the record highs 103, 105. That's going to be a big number to try to tie or break for Tuscaloosa. Thankfully, I don't think we're going to break any records with that. And 101 in Anniston. So if you're kind of interested, go ahead, grab that pen and paper and write these numbers down, and we'll show this throughout the week. And let's check out August 29th, those record highs. This is for Thursday. Once again, I highly doubt we're going to hit 107 in Tuscaloosa, but we could be getting closer to getting near that record high territory in Anniston and Birmingham. This is for Thursday, and then finally for August 30th, going into our last First Alert weather day. These are the record highs. Once again, don't know if we're going to tie or break any records, but if we do, it'd be pretty close in Anniston into Birmingham. We'll have more details throughout the week right here on Weather Extra regarding that dangerous heat.
And speaking of the heat, it's really important to understand heat safety. So here's a quick look at that heat safety checklist. For those of you who work outdoors, this is especially important to you. So number one, you want to make sure you drink plenty of water. Whether you're inside, outside, taking walks outdoors, you want to stay hydrated. Heat is really one of the top related weather killers across the nation. So it's so important that you put and implement heat safety all throughout these next several days, especially since we'll be nearing triple-digit temperatures. Number two, you want to make sure you're taking regular breaks. If you like to work out outdoors, do it earlier in the day or later in the evening when the heat is not as brutal. Peak hours of the day are going to be between 12 to about 4 p.m. So try to avoid doing any strenuous outdoor activities during that time. And last but not least, if you're going to take regular breaks, try to do it in the shade and wear sunscreen. Protect your skin from those UV rays. Other great things to have is wear a hat, wear a cool towel, wear sunglasses to also limit some of that direct sunlight on your eyes. But this comes as heat-related deaths, like I just mentioned, in the U.S., but have been increasing over the years. A new study in the medical journal JAMA showing a 117% spike from 1999 to 2023. Using data from the CDC, researchers found the annual number of deaths varied from year to year before 2016. According to the World Meteorological Organization, extreme heat is the #1 weather-related killer in the U.S. Wes?
And we continue to track the tropics over in the central Pacific. It's been very active in the Pacific. Tropical storm Hone weakening overnight. It's expected to continue moving west over the coming days, passing over the Hawaiian Islands. Maximum winds are currently at 65 miles per hour. But before weakening, it touched down in Hawaii, or actually it made landfall in Hawaii, some of those impacts in Hawaii, I should say, as a Category 1 hurricane on Sunday. It brought heavy rain and powerful winds. Eddie Down joins us now with the latest on that system.
Hawaii Island utility trucks stretched alongside Highway 11 near Mountain View as crews battled the elements to repair downed power lines. By noontime Sunday, 14,000 customers on the island were without power. With no lights, Volcano House Hotel started getting calls from people canceling their reservations. Down the road, Lava Rock Cafe lost power around 7 p.m. Saturday. Now a generator is keeping things running.
Try to have everything that everybody will need as much as possible, especially like gas. Like as you can see, everybody's been coming in for gas, ice.
On the island's south side, where Hone was closest, flooding turned Highway 11 in Waiohinu into a river.
To see it in the daylight and to see how high the water was coming and how quickly it was coming, it was pretty scary.
But it wasn't just Hawaii Island. On Maui, a landslide blocked the road on Hana Highway near Upper Waikani Falls. In upcountry, a roof blown off this home. And on the Garden Isle, a boat seen run aground on the west side.
All right, how about the Atlantic side? It's kind of interesting. Earlier in the year when we were tracking the tropical systems in the Atlantic, it was calmer in the Pacific, and now it's calmer in the Atlantic. We have all the action in the Pacific, but I'm just noticing right now, Caribbean, just to show you the view from space, with just really no areas that stand out for development here in the short term. But if you have a trip planned to the Gulf Coast for the weekend at this time, you can see not seeing a tropical system, but that can change in a hurry, as we know all too well. as we're now closing in on that peak of hurricane season. But I want to show you, this is the Saharan dust layer that we show from time to time that has an impact. It can help to limit tropical development, and over the next several days, even through Friday, you can see there's another large dust plume that's out here moving over the Atlantic, so that may limit development as we look well on down the road here into the start of next week. So we will certainly keep you posted on that. Tania?
Well, Wes, coming up in 30 seconds, we take a quick look at your forecast and travel across the world as we talk about impactful weather that happened over the weekend. Don't go anywhere. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra, and we'll be right back.
All right, college football forecast. Let's go ahead and talk about it here, giving you the first breakdown for the college football season this year. And Thursday, we have a couple of games. Alcorn State versus UAB, Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State. Temperatures around kickoff time in the 80s out there. So still during the evening, we will enjoy some improvements. Notice Saturday, we also have that chance for scattered storms. We really need to watch it Saturday afternoon. I think in Tuscaloosa might be a few scattered storms in the vicinity, but at least we have a chance for some wet weather back in the forecast. We haven't seen many storms around here, but where we have been seeing some storms in areas to the west, taking you high above from our chief pilot, meteorologist JP Dice. And JP gathered this video on a flight. He was flying to Colorado yesterday, and it's very cool. You can see those cloud tops there. Notice how they really flatten out. That's what we call the equilibrium layer. And when these warm parcels of air, when they start to rise and develop into these storms, they reach a point where the rising air is actually cooler than the surrounding air, so it levels out and it flattens out. And if you have some strong winds aloft, a lot of times it'll blow those clouds downwind, and that's why you see anvils with storms. And when those storms approach, you'll notice that high overcast associated with those. But it's just always amazing to catch the view from above, because it really helps us understand the morphology around thunderstorms as they develop. Tania?
Yeah, absolutely stunning pictures there. But now taking you across the country to Florida, where stunning video was taken of twin waterspouts. These were spotted on the coast this Thursday. Last Thursday, I believe, they were near the Palm Beach area as a storm passed through the area. Waterspouts, of course, are formed over bodies of water. And in Alaska, a landslide in Ketchikan leaves 3 injured and 1 fatality. It happened yesterday and caused evacuations as another landslide could be possible. Alaska's governor has issued a disaster declaration. The mayor saying he's never seen a landslide this bad in his 65 years living there.
Tania, and we've been seeing these weather disasters happening in other places. Look, don't go anywhere. We continue to update you on this week's First Alert Weather Days, as well as talk about the newest advancements to help fight wildfires. Stay tuned for more First Alert Weather Extra. And welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Still showing 94 degrees in Birmingham. It's hot out there, but you'll notice a big improvement. Look at that dew point there in the 40s. That is so dry. Extra chapstick kind of weather right there, but that's going to make a big difference when you step out there next couple of hours. You'll notice a big drop off in those temperatures. We're showing 89 right now at Jacksonville State University, and just a few views here on First Alert Sky Vision showing 91 at Young Jewelers in downtown Jasper. Here's that super 7-day forecast, and looking ahead, we did highlight through Friday as First Alert weather days for afternoon highs approaching 100 in a lot of areas out there. The average temperatures, you see that we see a lot of 90s on there, but certainly some dangerous heat. And this weekend still dangerously hot, 90s. And another thing, we'll have some scattered storms, as you can see back in that forecast for Sunday and right on into Labor Day. But let's take a look at the Tuesday forecast tomorrow. And again, if you can plan that work day around an early start, still those mornings have been very nice, but notice how quickly we're up to 80 at 9 o'clock, and by lunchtime 91 degrees. Afternoon temperatures, that's showing again around 97, so then we'll have those improvements going into early Wednesday as well, down to 73. Starts to feel a bit more humid. Some of the new high resolution data suggesting that we actually might see a couple of spotty showers as early as Wednesday. I just want to show you here, give you that first alert right there. You see that? This is some of the I believe this is the graph model, and it's wanting to pick up on a couple of spotty showers, but we're in a drought right now in a lot of areas. So, you know, when it gets very dry like this, it's really tough to break that with this kind of setup. Hopefully, we do see a few spotty showers Wednesday, but I certainly think our chances are better as we approach the weekend and into the start of next week. But not a lot of rain, but there's at least a chance, as you can see there on Wednesday. But moving along to the weekend, as we check out the muggy meter, one thing you'll notice here is that the dew points rise, so that's going to make it feel more humid and very sticky, and that's going to drive the heat index above 100. So I mentioned some of the college games coming up this weekend. It is going to be hot out there Saturday if you are tailgating during the day and into early next week. Let's check out Labor Day, and there is a 30% chance for showers. We will see this trend continue through the middle of next week. There was a point where it looked like a front may move through and actually bring some more cool air. Well, now it appears that front is going to stall. It's not going to move in, so we're going to be seeing weather like this, it looks like, through a good part of next week, as well as Tania will show you here coming up, going beyond the 7-day forecast. But right now I want to show you some cool photos. Another cool photo, this was sent in on the First Alert weather app, and these clouds in the distance, if you can see it, it's almost like they kind of like waves in the sky, but these are what's called Kelvinholtz Clouds, and they were sent in by Shelby Barnhill in Sampson, Alabama. These clouds are called Kelvinholtz, and they're formed but from different layers of the atmosphere where you have different velocities, and when the upper air layer, the upper part of the cloud cover, you've got those faster moving winds, and the lower part of the cloud where you've got wind shear, basically, it can make these cloud formations, and very cool. And sometimes they can come in various sizes, either small or very large Helmholtz waves, but you don't see it often here in Alabama, but certainly quite the sight. So for folks there that may have saw that over the weekend, a little weather 101, but a lot of great photos on the First Alert weather app. And now as we go to Tania, we're going to check in on that beyond the 7-day forecast. And Tania, one thing we're talking about next week, we thought we might have some cooler, drier air moving in with a cold front. That front's not going to make it, so we're going to hold on to these scattered storm chances.
Yeah, we're looking at more rain and storms as we approach beyond the 7-day, everyone. So notice Wes was just showing us, okay, we've got some hot conditions, First Alert weather days through this week. The one thing that the rain and storms will do is likely bring us some slightly cooler temperatures. Could see highs in the lower 80s by the following Friday. That's closer to that 10 to 14 day out from now. By the time we reach the following weekend, still looking at that possible rain and storm chance with those afternoon highs in the 80s. We've not declared any First Alert weather days beyond the 7-day, but we'll continue to pay attention to that scattered rain and storm chance. But hey, we're in need of some wet weather. We're dealing with drought across the state, so it wouldn't hurt to have a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. But in Colorado, NOAA using drones to help gather weather data while wildfires are actively burning. Ethan Carlson has more on this new research tool.
On a cloudy day north of Boulder, last-minute equipment checks, preparing the landing area, and a quick scan of the skies to make sure no other aircraft are near.
This guy is doing very low maneuvers.
All in the pursuit of important information.
Pressure, temperature, wind speed, wind direction, and relative humidity. So as it goes up, it's taking data the whole way.
This new drone, operated by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, is getting a test flight. Next time there's a big wildfire, atmospheric research scientist Janet Intreri and her team may be out there, using this versatile machine suited perfectly for Colorado.
The mountains make airflow very complex and it creates its own weather. A fire adds another level of complexity because it will also affect the weather. Being able to take the drone and drive to locations where you wouldn't normally have information is really a key part of this.
Getting accurate information near wildfires is perhaps more crucial than ever. Wildfires are here to stay, and NOAA wants to be prepared.
We need to know what is going to happen in this moment, 6 hours from now, a day from now, a week, a month, a year, in order to be able to see what the most likely outcomes are of wildfires.
Especially as the climate continues to warm.
We're projected to have more extreme events, and as a result of that, we need to have better forecasts in order to be able to foresee them.
The data doesn't just help with long-term forecasts, it can help the people who are actively helping to fight the fires.
If you have that kind of information in near real time, you can respond to the people who need it the most, the fire crew teams.
The plan is to keep testing the drone for the remainder of the year, and to work with NOAA meteorologists on what information and techniques will be most beneficial moving forward. And if another wildfire were to pop up,
we're ready to go, and we would hope to learn how to respond as quickly as possible, but I think we have all of our pieces in place.
When it's so dry like this and you don't have the haze and the humidity, actually makes for some great weather for sky watching. And Joe Paul Cates captured this lovely view of the Milky Way. And Bob Phillips and Joe, they do a great job. Bob shared one of his photos there over Briarfield, Alabama. What a view, Tania.
What? That is so beautiful.
I know, we need a little Star Trek sound to go.
Man, and this one is a sunset from Carolyn McGurk, but now this one is from Denise Corley, sunset at Sims Farm.
What a beautiful view, and love those rays there over the cloud tops. And Garland Brock sharing this lovely sunset at Lake Martin. What a weekend to be out on the lake. And actually, Labor Day weekend coming up here is going to be a nice weekend. There'll be plenty of dry weather in the mix.
Yeah.
Just hot, humid, scattered storms.
Yep.
Fall is 26 days away.
All they need to do is pay attention to their weather app. If they're having plans outdoors this weekend, that'll let you know when heavy rain is near you or lightning, so you'll be fine.
Give you a little time there to plan.
Oh, yeah.
So plan for this heat next few days. We'll be updating you on those temperatures and the forecast. We'll have the 10-day coming up tonight as well, so join us then.
Hey, give me 2 seconds. 2 more seconds. I need to fix this. Bam. Ready. Get my mic off. Yes, sir. Alrighty, let's do it in 3, 2. Hey there, everyone. First Alert meteorologist Tania Michelle here with a look at that super 7-day forecast. First Alert weather days in effect Tuesday through your Thursday and really through your Friday for dangerous heat levels nearing 100 degrees outside. It's going to be super hot. Take a look at this. 97 Tuesday, 98 both Wednesday and Thursday for a high, and 96 on Friday. Overnight temps won't be too bad. We'll be cooling off into the 70s. So if you get out later in the evening or earlier in the day, it won't feel as brutal outside. We do want to remind you to implement heat safety, drink plenty of water, take breaks, and find shade to take breaks in. We will be introducing a rain chance to approach later into this work week by Thursday and throughout your Labor Day weekend, but rain chances are fairly limited. We're going to see more widely scattered to isolated activity. Your Labor Day weekend should be very nice. Low 90s Sunday and low 90s to start us off next week. If you want more forecast updates, don't hesitate to download the WBRC 6 News weather app.